Yo, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy here, Ken, doing my Wrestlemania review for night number 2. It is 3:05 a.m. in the morning for me. Why is that? Well, hey, guests over from my friends, guys from the Golden Elite group chat of mine came over. We watched the pay-per-view, played some games and stuff, and kind of talked and watched the podcast, the Stone Cold podcast afterwards and stuff. But yeah, WrestleMania night 2. Good show. Good show. Had a good time with it. So I'm just not gonna, just get right into it. Uh, they opened up the match with Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. This was announced like an hour before the pay per view had started, or 2 hours before the pay per view had started, which I kind of scratched my head. I'm like, why are they starting the match with this? Out of all the matches for WrestleMania, nights 1 and 2, this one had the longest build because Orton and Bray Wyatt's feud goes back to like late summer of last year, building up to this moment. But whatever. They come out. Randy Orton looked cool. Bray Wyatt came out to what I thought was a really cool entrance, the Jack in the Box thing. Uh, Bray looked like he lost a lot of weight. I was telling one of my buddies, Matt, I'm like, I don't think that's Bray. Second thing, what happened to the whole like burned thing? He went back to like the regular Fiend, not the burned Fiend look. I wonder what happened with that. What was the story behind that? Could he like maybe he couldn't move around really well or wrestle? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that we got the old Fiend look and not the new one. But whatever the case, I thought this match was like wrestling wise was pretty good. Like the Fiend was like no selling Randy Orton stuff. Randy Orton dropped him on the table on the announce table. He popped back up and put him like in a mandible claw, something like that. I thought they were kind of rocking and rolling a little bit, match quality wise. And then all of a sudden, it just took a complete left turn. Um, uh, 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 God, what's her name? Alexa Bliss had like a metamorphosis, and she changed into, I don't know what the hell you can see. Like she probably bonded with the black symbiote from Spider-Man, and she turned into Venom. But she comes out of the Jack in the Box, bleeding black blood or whatever. Bray Wyatt looks at her strangely, which caused a distraction. Orton hits him with the RKO, pins and wins him, and Bray Wyatt lost. And then Bray Wyatt looks at Bliss strangely, lights go out, and then they both, vanish from the ring. I don't know what the hell they're doing on with this. Bray Wyatt, I've said since Bray Wyatt came back as the Fiend gimmick a year ago, he should be positioned as the new Undertaker in the sense that he's that guy that's on an island to his own, off on his own, a character that is uniquely different from anything on the roster, a character that should be protected when being booked. For some reason, WWE they just cannot get this right, and they cannot get Bray Wyatt right. I don't understand it. I really do not understand it. This goes back to the I was telling my guys earlier today after that match that on the podcast Keeping It 100, I think it was Conan or one of the hosts that was on there talked about how he and his son met Bray Wyatt during one of the WrestleMania Access weeks or whatever, just ran like in the store at the gym, and he told Bray Wyatt like what's going on with the Fiend character, and Bray Wyatt told him he was like there are some people that just don't get the character, they don't get it, and I found that very interesting because we all kind of thought that anyway for the last couple of few years since the Fiend character had come on the scene, but he was just like there are just some people that they don't get it, and I think when Bray said that, I think he was mostly referring to Vince. So Randy Orton wins this. I don't know. I don't know. Next match we got after this was the tag team women's match. Nia Jax and did Nia Jax? I don't even know. I really didn't pay attention to this match at all. So someone can correct me on that. Maybe Natty won, and I think Natty won. I think became new tag team champions. I don't know. Anyway, skipping on to that. This is where the pay per view started to pick up. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. This was an excellent match. This was really great. A little bit of back and forth. Kevin Owens gets the win. He did a great stunner on Logan Paul towards the end of the match, or at the post match, I should say rather, and Logan like sold it. Next we got after I thought, to me, at this point, up until this, we'll listen to the main event. United States Championship match with Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. Before we got to the main event, this was the match of the night. This was the match that got me like amped up for the rest of the show. This was an excellent match. I said it in my preview prediction about my predictions for night 2, and they delivered. It was a slobber knocker between Sheamus and Riddle. Like it was they banged, they clashed. It was great. Match concluded with Matt Riddle tried to do like a back somersault off the second rope. In midair, Sheamus just kicks him right in the face. He bleeds from the mouth. I wouldn't be surprised if Riddle lost a tooth or two. Pins him and gets the United States Championship. Is the new United States champion. Great spot. Love that finish. Definitely going to be on a highlight reel. I think we're going to be looking back for the next 2 years in terms of like WrestleMania highlights. That's going to be one of them for sure. And Sheamus being United States champion, I think was definitely well earned, and he deserved it. I've been saying Sheamus has been putting in the work since January. In particular, he's been putting in the work, and he's been losing a lot. He's been putting on good matches, great matches, but he's been on the losing end of every brunt of every feud, putting people over. So I think this was definitely due for him, him being U.S. champion. So I'm proud of Sheamus for that. Next, we got the Intercontinental Championship match between Big E and Apollo. This was a good match. Basically, it was an extreme, hardcore match, whatever you want. I mean, a mildly hardcore match. That's basically what this was. But it was a good wrestling match. Big E literally had the win, and I called him like, "Oh, Big E's got it!" And then all of a sudden, Boba Coda or whatever, the guy from Raw Underground, Boba Coda, comes in, attacks Big E, and throws Apollo over him, and Apollo gets the win, and Apollo is your new IC champion. Don't really know what I really think about this. You could say he kind of had to win because he had been losing multiple times to Big E in this feud. So like this is kind of like his last chance under his new gimmick. I guess it's okay, maybe. I am starting to see a little trend with WWE. It looks like WWE is slowly trying to trickle in some big men. Like you got AJ with his muscle. Now you have Apollo Crews with his muscle. Braun Strowman, obviously, he's a big dude and enough in himself. We got the push of Lashley this year. We got the push of McIntyre the year before. It looks like WWE is trying to plant some big men back into the roster, which I'm all good for. I'm all good for diversity and whatnot. But we'll see where they go with this direction with Apollo and Coda backing them up. After that, we get the Raw Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Asuka. This match was good. There was kind of slow in some paces. I think in comparison of both women title matches, the SmackDown Women's title scene was much better last night. Excuse me. In comparison. But they also had a lot of key factors and ingredients going into it, so why that match also just kind of went over the top. But Rhea Ripley looked really great. I loved her WrestleMania entrance. I thought it was great. And she beat Asuka and became the new Raw Women's Champion, as I had predicted in my prediction video. That was the right move. Rhea, I think they need to... Well, for one, I think they need to book Asuka better, because Asuka's done nothing. Like, I feel like in the entire her entire reign in 2020 leading up to WrestleMania, Asuka's done nothing. I don't know really what can WWE do with Asuka. I mean, really, I don't know, but they definitely need to do something different with her for sure. Rhea Ripley, fresh face, very talented. I still think probably maybe tomorrow post Raw, it's tradition for surprises and whatnot. I think we're going to get Charlotte. Charlotte's going to come back and probably going to challenge Rhea Ripley. I'm calling it now. If that is the case, if that is the direction that they go, I hope Rhea is the one who gets the upper hand this time in, a renewal of their feud. Now we get on to the main event, which at this point, this was the best match of the night. Daniel Bryan versus Edge versus Roman Reigns. This match had everything. Storytelling, emotion, excitement had you at the edge of your seat. Great spots. I got to take it from the beginning because when Roman Reigns came out, his music popped, it hit, and you wait, and Roman's still not out. Roman doesn't come out for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. He makes the crowd wait. So then when he comes out, they just shower him in boos. And it's just the little things like that, just little nuances like that as to really what makes Roman Reigns a really good heel and what just really draws heel heat. So just make him wait. I just laughed and just thought it was great because he's like, you know what, you all are here to see me, so you're gonna wait, and this ain't gonna kick off until I get here out in this damn ring. So that was great. Jey Uso, interfering. Super kicks left and right to Edge and Bryan. And then he ended up getting his comeuppance, and he ended up being carried away for a bit. What else happened? Roman Reigns took Daniel Bryan and power bombed him through the announce table as he was standing on the steel steps, pandering to the crowd. Edge spears him while he was on the steel step. I thought that was a great spot. Then we get into probably one of the highlight spots where Edge gets Reigns in a face lock. Or a crossface, a crossface. Gets him in a crossface, and Edge is like, he's bucking his eyes, and he's like desperate. You really see the emotion in Edge's face, and you see Reigns also struggling the emotion. I mean, like, just little things like that you just don't see in wrestling anymore. But Roman gets it. Edge, Ben got it. He's a veteran. And then Daniel Bryan gets into the ring, and Daniel Bryan grabs Roman's other arm. His other arm. And he puts him in a face lock. So now Roman Reigns is in a double face lock with both, crossface, I should say, with both Bryan on one side and Edge on the other side of him. Great spot. And then they end up getting out of that. Then you get to the part where Edge is starting to kind of feel himself, and Edge was on the cusp of kind of winning this thing. He takes the steel chair, whacks Daniel Bryan, hits Roman Reigns, takes another chair, wedges it in between both men's heads. He smacks Daniel Bryan with the chair, with his hair being being sandwiched between 2 chairs. Attempts to do the same with Roman, but Jimmy Uso slips in, kicks Edge in the face, attempts to hit Edge with the chair. Edge spears Jimmy, takes the chair, whacks Jimmy, and Jimmy rolls out. As soon as Edge turns around, Roman goes boom, hits him with a spear. Roman takes the chair and then does the exact thing that Edge attempted to do with him, sandwiches his head between, the 2 chairs, takes Edge's lifeless carcass, drags it across the ring, lays it on top of Daniel Bryan, who's already dead at this point, lays on top of both men, pinning them both on top of them like an alpha dog laying on his bitches. Okay? Gets the pin and the win. Roman Reigns still Universal Champion. I thought this was a great ending. Even Don Callis was like, has anyone ever piled one opponent over the other and pinned them in a triple threat before? I think that's the first. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's the first too. I definitely agree. I don't remember a triple threat ever doing that. So even though that's something that was just very simple and little, that's like, it's befitting for Roman's character, because it's not Roman saying, if he pinned Edge, well, Edge, I beat you. Then Bryan can say, you never pinned me or beat me, and then Edge can have the same argument if Roman were to pin Bryan. No, instead, the high chief, the tribal chief, takes both opponents, stacks them on one another as he lays on both of them, and he's basically saying, I pinned both your asses. I beat you both at the same time. You're Don. I've conquered you both. Now address me as your high tribal chief, you bastards, and address me as the head of the table. Thought it was absolutely great. Surprisingly, a lot of people online just didn't get it. A lot of people were like, "This should have been Edge's night. Roman should have lost." Blah blah blah. It's not the time for Roman to lose right now. Roman was and still is the best persona, the best character, the best heel WWE has right now, and arguably, I might even say in all of wrestling right now. Like you throw in NXT, AEW, New Japan, MLW, whatever. Roman Reigns is probably one of the top three heels right now in the scene, and just in all of wrestling. But in terms of WWE, he is that guy. He is that dude. Whether you love him or hate him, Roman Reigns has found his calling, and he's done a bang up job doing it. And he, the promo he cut last Friday, he's made SmackDown relevant. Everyone comes to see him. He's absolutely right about that. Like, yeah, it's a promo, but it's got some underlying truth to it too. I'm fine with it. Who can Roman? I mean, for people who say who can take the belt from Roman, who's Roman's going to drop the belt to? Honestly, I don't know. Who could he drop the belt to? But at this point, too, I'm not even trying to think, 3, 4, 5 months ahead to see like who could beat Roman Reigns for the title. I'm just here to enjoy the ride and just ready to go, because really Roman Reigns is one of the very few bright spots in WWE right now. But you guys let me know what you thought about WrestleMania Night 2. Did you enjoy it better than Night 1, or Night 1 better than Night 2? What are your overall thoughts on both nights of WrestleMania? I thought it was a good show. Definitely, I think I said again, the audience definitely played a big part in this, compared to last year, which was just a really weird situation that we were in. And we're still in a pandemic, but thankfully we were able to have an audience. Again, did not mean to make this long, 17 minutes, but you guys let me know what you think. Do yourself a favor, hit the like button, and subscribe. Peace out.